Alright guys, so what to expect for this week crypto market outlook? And of course, in 4 hours time, we're going to have the FOMC meeting with Kevin Warsh. So what to expect, right? Should we see a pause of rate, which is most likely expected, or probably there could be a chance of a rate hike, right? That is coming in. So yeah, I think the decision for today is mostly pricing for maintaining of rate. Okay. But of course, the next following meeting, there could be a high chance of a rate hike, which is also quite concerning. So Fed features a tough July decision, including inflation clashes with rising oil concern. And let's see how Kevin Warsh is going to speak up later on, because I think the pressure is on right now for him to deliver, whether his tone will be hawkish or dovish. So with the account expectation, I would expect a hawkish tone later on, yet again, because there's no way they're going to lower down the interest rate in this type of condition. S&P 500 all-time high, NASDAQ, everything is up. And then, of course, we have the AI peak. Okay, the AI peak is already happening. You see the Korean stock exchange also already in the Lima at the moment. Okay, with the SK Hynix stock price also went down. And I think most likely there will be a circuit breaker in the South Korea stock exchange, not mistaken. And of course, talking about the US Fed later on, most important thing is the clarity. Okay, what is the next move for moving on for the next quarter, and of course for the next following year as well. So there can be a 64% chance where the Federal Reserve would most likely maintaining the rate or no changes at all, which is most likely to be expected later this morning later, right? 2 a.m. Malaysian time, there will be about 2 p.m. in the US. So rate decision. Okay, and of course, talking about the June Consumer Price Index, okay, gave the Fed some room to keep rates unchanged. I mean, as inflation cooled somewhere around 3.5% from 4.2% in May. Okay, but not to forget the rising of oil price. Okay, have also caused a lot of impact for the interest rate as well. So the renewed US-Iran tension and the breakdown of the ceasefire have raised concern that higher energy prices could push inflation higher. So that is the concern there for the oil price. So oil price also pushed the inflation much higher. Okay, so that's why the Fed cannot be able to lower down the rates. But most likely the best decision now is to maintain the rate or consider unchanged. Okay, all right. So 64% no change, 35% chance of a 24 basis point of a rate hike, which is quite high actually if you look at it. Right. Later on, we will look into the next following up meeting for the CME. Okay, so there could be a high chance of a rate cut later on. Okay, so no signal given by Kevin Warsh on July rate cut, which is already expected. Okay, we do not want to give any signal at all. Okay, which caused the market to be uncertain. Okay, right? But his recent comments have not given markets a clear signal about a July rate cut. So not given meaning no clarity, uncertainty. So the market do not like uncertainty. So that's why we can see the market starts to tank. Then June is last month, isn't it? Fed has no tolerance for persistently elevated inflation while also pushing for less forward guidance. Okay. So the key decision here is that how will crypto react on the FOMC decision, whether it's hawkish or dovish tone. Okay, that will actually impact the crypto market. That's going to happen later on. So total crypto market cap dropped around 3%, 2.17 trillion, and then the Bitcoin fell about 63.4. So currently it's somewhere about 64.5 at the moment. Okay, so hawkish tone, most likely it will bring the whole market down, not only crypto, right? Even though we decided to remain unchanged, but the tone of hawkish for Kevin Warsh will definitely tank. Hawkish meaning probably next following meeting he could say there could be a high chance of a rate hike, rather a rate cut. Then that's when the market will tank. Or if you say that cannot able to give any signal or clarity moving forward, it is also hawkish. Okay, unable to decide, unable to give any signs of clarity. That's when the market will not like it. And most likely it will be hawkish to later on. Okay, then moving on next. So we talk about exchange, crypto exchange. Okay, not sure how many of you guys are still putting your crypto stables into the exchange and still leaving it there. So this is also another concern during the bear market. So a lot of exchange have go bust, insolvent, okay, and sunsetting their business operation. So we've seen the likes of BitMEX, BitMart, SNX is one of the latest crypto exchange to finally shut down. Okay, this is not something new. I think during the last bear market also, similar story. Okay, all right, so we can see BitMEX closure is no longer isolated event. Okay, and then BitMart announced its wind down operation, and then SNX has already confirmed it will cease operation earlier this month. Three big crypto exchanges, okay, decided to close shop. So where does that leave you? Right, especially you're exposing your funds at risk here if you're still letting it. Okay, if you're still relying on crypto exchange, okay, in terms of keeping your coins there, then that's where you have to really start thinking of self-custody. Okay, if you have a hardware wallet like Ledger, might want to consider transferring it there. Now, if you're not considered, but still yet to buy or own one, then that's where you really need to own one. Okay, rather than leaving it in the exchange. So things like this, okay, let's say you have a lot of stables lying inside there. You are preparing for the bull run to buy, to accumulate. And suddenly the exchange go bust, or probably you cannot even withdraw. So that's the thing you really want to consider. Okay, so this by CZ, set to see BitMEX go. Okay, BitMEX pioneered 100 times perps perpetual, right? Leverage trading back in 2014. So BitMEX, I think, is more of the pioneer, OG crypto exchange. Okay, co-founded by Arthur Hayes, finally decided to close shop or decided to wind down operations. Okay, so there you can see Bitcoin deposit only, withdrawals only once per day. So you can imagine it's quite scary, isn't it? That they withdraw only once per day. Okay, so shutting down operation effective 23rd September. So you're roughly about how many more months there? Less than 2 months to get your funds out from the BitMEX exchange. So that's the thing I always tell you guys, also students. Best if you can have balance. Put some in the exchange, but majority of your cryptos into your Ledger wallet or hardware wallet. Okay. So this is to prevent all these things to happen. Okay, if you're big funds like multiple 6, 7 people, then you might want to consider. Okay. Right. So these are the things. This is the after effect of the bear market. Okay. You can see a lot of companies, they start operations during the bull run. Okay, they only there during the good times. But during bad times like these challenging times, you can see which company can be able to swim when the tide is not there. Okay, all right. So there you go. It's already proven. Okay, bear market is where those companies start to struggle. So you're going to see which company can be able to thrive during the bear run. Okay, so many companies. Okay, so that's not one of them, but so many. So you have to be really, really careful. And then you talk about regulation and over trading, right? Reshaping the industry as well. Okay, so talk about Binance. Okay, I think they have their license, I think, revoked or changed in the Europe section. Okay, so Binance Android app, okay, reportedly no longer available on Google Play, parts of the Europe. It is due to the beta licensing. Okay, so much of regulation and restriction as well coming in from Binance. Okay, so more and more is coming up, so you have to be really, really careful. Okay, especially about your funds, how you can navigate during this transitioning from the bear to the bull. Okay, so important. When you want to really buy the dip, you can't. Why? Because you make this kind of mistake that you shouldn't. Okay, by keeping everything into the exchange. When the exchange give problem, goes bust, that's where you want to start to reconsider, but it's already too late. Okay, and then moving on next. Okay, since the AI bubble, or AI is more of a hot narrative, finally starts to cool down. So once it starts to cool down, what's happening? You can see that crypto stocks starts to outperform against other AI sector, okay, and other semiconductor chip, okay, like Nvidia, like AMD, okay, like SK Hynix, okay. So all these crypto stocks like Coinbase, I think Robinhood also is one of the leading in crypto stocks industry. Okay, all right. So we can see that Coinbase, okay, one of the largest crypto exchange in US, went up about 14.85%. Okay, and then of course we can see here. Okay, so why crypto outpace AI? So important. Three main reasons. Okay, all right. Being the capex, capital expenditure. Okay, panic. So investors grew concerned that their massive spending to develop AI wasn't reflected in the company's immediate returns. And then talking about foreign AI and semiconductor companies strengthen Western monopoly. Okay, so you can see a lot of Chinese companies have started also. A lot are actually challenging the US companies. Okay, talk about DeepSeek, talk about Kimi3, K3, right? Slowly they are emerging. They are competing against ChatGPT and Claude as well. So a lot of these companies are slowly starting to compete. So one Chinese-based firm recently engineered chip manufacturing machines, which were previously only available via Dutch giant ASML. See, so many things that are coming up, right? Talk about Kimi 3, right? This is the latest model for China. Okay, that I think they are heavily competing with ChatGPT and Claude. I think they are really, really giving a run for their money at the moment. So heavily excel in coding, maths, and structured tasks. Okay, so this kind of monopoly tightens the race between nations to dominate. You see, China are actually coming up really, really fast and very, very fierce. Okay, they are not here to play; they are here to win. They're here to really dominate. Okay, so likewise, I think everything is moving really, really fast. So that's why you can see the AI bubble say it's overheated at the moment. Overheated in terms of companies are actually providing a lot of services, utility. So many new companies are coming up with this kind of service. So end of the day is that which company can really outsell, can able to sustain once the AI bubble starts to burst during this time. Okay. All right. So there you go. Certain. Okay. So now crypto stocks is slowly starting to take over. Money starts to rotate. But this is the after impact, right? Okay. One narrative gets overheated, and then the money starts to transition to the next narrative again, the next topic. Then talking about the federal CME, which is later on, FOMC. So later on, right, less than 4 hours, which is about 2 a.m. later on. So the chances of maintaining is somewhere around 64.2%, whereas a rate hike, there could be a 35.8% later on of a rate hike, which I don't think it will happen later this meeting. But if we look on the next meeting, which is 16 September, 2 months from now, less than 2 months, you look here, right? Current rate is 3.5 to 3.75 basis point. For the next meeting, there is a high chance of a 54.8% of a rate hike, increasing of rate. That means they will increase the interest rate, okay, at 54.8% chance from what? 3.5, okay, to 3.75 to 4%, okay, which is actually not good for the market, where I believe it stands no choice for them but to raise the interest rate. So I think this will be Q4 already. So Q4, I think probably the market will continue to tank or continue to consolidate based on the interest rate hike. And then talking more about the altcoin season or whatever, the Bitcoin bottom, crypto market bottoming. So we can see what's happening. Okay. Crypto Twitter, which is the crypto community, mentioning what here? Insisted that Altseason was just around the corner. I think we've been hearing this on and off many, many times, not only during the bull market, but each and every time when the price goes up, per se Altseason is like that. Okay, but how does it really make sense? Okay, so what did we get instead? A big fat breakdown of the trend line. Okay, so you can see here total trade is all the altcoins market cap from the low, mid, and the large cap. Okay, accumulated all into one, which is total 3 ES. So this chart has no clear bottoming pattern either. So it's likely to drop lower as we keep making lower highs and lower lows. So that. So how can you say that we are in the outseason in the bear run? That is temporarily short-term relief rally to create a lower high to continuation with a lower low again. So how I interpret this chart, stay away from alts in general until the time is right. Okay, until the time is right. And then you can do whatever you want, but I'm staying away. So yeah, I think again, a lot of noise they eat in the crypto market. Okay, right? So a lot of influencer, they tell you to buy this, buy that, the bottom is in. No, if you don't buy it now, you regret. And true enough, again, from time to time, again, we've seen many people get wrecked. Buy too early, catching the falling knife. And then what happened? Start to bleed again. Okay, so the key here is to accumulate Bitcoin first, slowly later transitioning to alts. Okay, so this Q4, you want to start looking into dollar cost averaging, DCA, for BTC only. Okay, for Bitcoin only, not for alts. Okay, and then next, okay, talk about the money flow index, what's happening here. So current position is a rebound from the first low, okay, as usual around July. So two more important points to go, which we already know from the halving cycle theory, the second low of the cycle bottom. So let's see. Cycle low of the second bottom. So where are we now? Here, July, which is the gray circle here. Gray circle is here, isn't it? Okay. Compared to the last cycle, there could be expect one more last drop, which is number 3 here, which is the orange circle. Bear market second low, right? That is the one that CryptoCom mentioning. Should we see a bear market low, second low? Okay, that will probably have the last run or the last drop. That's what everyone expects. Okay, so on this money flow index, second low has always been lower than the first. The cycle bottom is higher and makes a bullish divergence. Okay, so right now we can say Bitcoin is somewhere around 64, 65K. So we're going to get the bear market second low. So that will probably bring us about 50 to slightly 40K-ish. Okay, if that's the case, that is going to happen. Okay, that could be the final one that we are going to see. So hopefully right now, okay, this is the level here, isn't it? So we're going to see the last orange dot here. That will give us the final low, and then slowly diverge to continue back towards the upside. Okay, so these are the preparation. Everything looks on par for the bear market activity, and it's not over yet, which I believe is quite true. Okay, so July, we will get the lower high, which is already happening. Okay, the only thing is whether can he able to hit somewhere around 70K. We got another 2 more days to end this month, so let's see. Should we hit 70K or should we consider it as a local peak? And then we continue to go down again for August, September onwards. That's a key decision there for the bear market second low to take place, which is the number 3, then following up by the cycle bottom, which is number 4. Okay, now moving on next. Okay, the FOMC meeting. Okay, runs somewhere around 28 and 29. Okay, so this is the interest rate domination crypto focus. Okay, so Kevin Warsh leading a crucial interest rate decision that will impact the crypto market. Okay, so let's see. This chart tracks crypto social chatter around rate hikes, rate cuts, and rate staying the same. Let's see here. Okay, so on June 16, rate hike, hike fear spike hard before Warsh's first FOMC decision, but the rate helps interest rate 3.5 to 3.75. Okay, so if you look here, June 16, right, very large rates hike. Here's leading up to Kevin Warsh, first ever. And then June 16, moderate discussions of rate cuts. Okay, then June 23rd, decisions about rates staying the same following June FOMC meeting. And then July 13, talks of rate hikes, rise higher again. And then yesterday, markets pricing in 36 to 38% chance of rate hike. You see, that's why you can see the market tank early this week. Monday, Tuesday, start to tank. Okay, now slowly recovering back up again. So July looks tense, not settled. Market recently priced 36 or 38% chance of surprise hike. Okay, so let's see. Crowd conviction can get loud right before it gets wrong. right? Especially when traders are trying to price Fed uncertainty into Bitcoin. So we're going to see how is the tone is going to be like. Like I said, the key here is hawkish or dovish tone only. Because knowingly that they're not going to cut or increase the interest rate. They're just going to maintain or remain unchanged. The key here is dovish or hawkish. Again, from Kevin Warsh. So hopefully it's a dovish tone. If not, hawkish tone, that's where it's going to bring the market down again. Okay. And then what else next? Has the Bitcoin bottom? That's the key here. Right? Balance of probabilities. I don't think so. Why? Number one, we're tracking the last two bear market. Okay, both July 2018 and 2022 were counter trend ready months that gave it all back in the months that followed. And now we are currently in one now, which is now in July. Similar, a lower high, a sucker rally. So the burden of proof sits where this time is different. And so far, the cyclical behavior is just repeating, which is very, very true as well. Right? We see the perma bulls, we see those dumb retails keep saying this time is different. They listen to Plan C, psychedelic. Okay, that the bottom is already in. But from time to time again, it's still the same. Right? Markets keep repeating like a simulation. And then the drawdown is shallow, diminishing returns. 50% off the high. 2018 went 84%. 2022 went about 77% drawdown. Okay? So history says there's a bit more of these. So like I said, as the market progresses, as the market matured, the drawdown gets lesser and lesser. Okay? Should we see 60% or slightly 70-ish percent? Because the last bear market was what, 77. So maybe we target somewhere around 60%, 65. Okay, might never know, right? So no forced selling event, or also known as capitulation. So December 2018, November 2022, each had a liquidation cascade with a name attached. Then a week where a large amount of Bitcoin changed hands under duress. Okay, we haven't had one yet, but does it need to be another FTX? Probably not. Okay, but something you need to force the transfer before a macro bottom print. So we should expect a contagion or a capitulation event to happen. That will probably maybe to take place. We'll see maybe some bad actors tends to screw up during the time. Maybe Michael Saylor could be the one. Okay, MSTR. Okay, so it could be another crypto exchange go bust again, or could be another hacked exploit. Okay, so we don't know. Okay, so we haven't touched realized price. So realized price is the average price at which Bitcoin is supplied. Last move on chain, it sits around 52.5. Okay, right. So macro looks questionable. AI trade has cooled. Index are rolling, and we have a sticky inflation team. So it won't take much for near-term positioning unwind. Uncertainty at best. Okay, so yeah, I think there you go. We are still not in the bottom. We are still haven't reached the real bottom yet. Probably they have one more last calculation, one more last contagion. Okay, for this thing to take place. Okay. So the biggest reason to be optimistic here is the ETF era. Move a large block of supply. Okay? All right. So yeah, so basically that's the thing. Yeah, I've been telling on and off again. Stay put, stay patient. Okay, if your hands get itchy, don't leverage trade, focus on other things like learning about AI, upskill yourself. If you are not a professional trader, I have to tell you again, don't even bother to trade. Okay? If you want to buy on spot. Okay, buy on spot and chill. You don't need to take leverage. Okay, I'm telling many times. Stay in the game. Okay, by sitting patient. Because Q4 is coming. September onwards, that's where we want to go offense. Start FNT. And then moving on next to airdrop. Okay, so we've been doing GRVT, which is leverage trading perpetual. Okay, you might want to check your allocation, and I think you can start checking on the unlock schedule, which is the vesting schedule. So they release over 12 months. So there are no fully released TGE at the moment. They do not release fully on their allocation, but instead a vesting schedule, which will last about 12 months. So unlock schedule depends on your account activity. Accounts with suspicious trading patterns or multi-account activity may have lower releases. Okay, so this is really, really bad, right? If you are targeting for this drop. Now, There you go. Again, during the bear market, you can see how cautious they are in terms of rewarding their users. And then next, talk about base airdrop. Again, there could be a chance of an airdrop civil filter to check who is cheating or not. So probably base maybe airdrop probably next year or probably during the bull run. Okay, so let's see. A lot of speculation right now. People are actually following base. So let's see. Okay, if you have been doing base, maybe you might want to check. Okay, we have multiple wallets, gotta be careful. Okay, so using 100 wallets wouldn't necessarily mean 100 claims anymore. If all those wallets are linked on the same verified identity, it would still count as 1%. Okay, so there you go. And then next, theappos.com drop. Okay, now you can be able to start registering your wallet. Okay, or you want to claim, link your wallet, then link your Twitter account. Because the registration will be end on 2nd of August. Okay, all right, so this is a thing we want to claim. And then, of course, moving on next with the coin market cap. So what's happening now? 2.2 trillion, BTC at 64.1, Ethereum 1.8. Okay, we have Ripple 1.07, Solana $73. Okay, look at the gainers for today. Ordira beat 23.53, Python 11%, Jupiter 5.78, Pi Network at 5.63. So nothing much. All in all, also at the moment you can see all these coins are actually down. Pretty much down actually. Okay, then next, technical. Bitcoin dominance, what's happening? Okay, so we can see here the dominance. Price currently is downtrend, down below the middle band for the dominance. So we know that if dominance is down, then most likely ETH will start to outperform. Okay, and then your critical support is right here. Let's have a see. 57.18. Look at weekly. Okay, breakdown, pullback for the re-entry sell. So it needs to break past the middle band for the weekly time frame. Look at daily. Pump, higher highs now, descending, slowly start to break up. So it's slowly starting to recover again on daily. Okay, on H4 also is going up. Now we look on to ETH against Bitcoin. So ETH against Bitcoin, what's happening now, you can see. Okay, so it needs to break past the middle band here. So far getting rejected here. And then we look at weekly. Price break above the middle band. Now we need a confirmation which is to maintain above middle band now. Or we test right here. 0.02871. Look at daily. Okay, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs again. Okay, confirmation pulling back. Now it needs to maintain, but the next level we're going to watch is here. The middle band too. 0.02904. Okay. Okay, we can see ETH against Bitcoin most likely to peak because why there's a double bottom, double top here, M pattern form. Probably could already end for this rally for ETH against Bitcoin. So moving on next, what's happening now with BTC? It's 4.1. Look at monthly time frame. So if you have any outs, feel free to put in the chat box. I'll look into it later on. So we look here for Monday. What's happening now? This is the critical support at 8.2. Then we're going to look on next week here at 71.4 will be the next level. Okay, that's for the Monday. And then we look on to the weekly time frame. So what's happening now? Okay, this level here to watch, which is the resistance level. It needs to break 65.7. Currently getting rejected. So we can see already break, pull back again. We have how many weeks retesting here? 1, 2, 3. This is the 4th week. Still getting rejected on this level here, critical level. So once get rejected, we want to see 8.2 next. Okay, for BTC. Look at daily. So what's daily doing? Break below the middle band, pull back on the entry, and it's looking set to go lower. So if this is the case, then most likely the FOMC is going to take this thing to hit the wall. Okay, this FOMC meeting is coming in. Okay, so the market is looking quite bearish. Look at it. Look at ETH, 1895. Okay, so we can see here what's happening with ETH. Okay, so your spot here at 1566. And then your next re-entry will be here. Sell zone at 2178. Look at the weekly. So we can see on the weekly time frame, right? What happened? Broke past the critical support. This level here. Now come back to the test. Still getting rejected. Why? It's at the middle band here. 1980. So it needs to break above 1980 and then confirmation again to continue higher, which is the 2445. Okay. Right. So there you go. For daily, what's happening now? higher highs, higher lows, but this is ascending up and is closing inside the Bollinger Band. There could be another concern. So there could be a sell to buy situation for Ethereum. Okay, sell to buy situation for Ethereum. So what other outs that we are looking at here? Do you have any other outs we want to look into? Okay, so let's move into the outs. You'll see here. Look at BIT Odera. Odera BIT. Okay, so let's see what's happening now. Odera BIT. Is this the right chart? 3.86. Yeah, similar. Okay, so we got 2 points here. So this is the last resistance. It was here. 2025, last year's resistance, now turning to support. So it went all the way to how much here? $11. Wow, insane. We have this low here, 54 cents, all the way to $11. How many percent? Wow, those 20x. 20x. Okay, 20x. Right, so we have a nice pump, pullback, consolidation. Should we see something like this? Probably yes. Okay, so probably yes here if you look at it. Okay, confirmation there. And then what else? Look at daily now. What do you see on daily? Okay, so daily we can see also extreme sell. Price is slowly starting to break higher, so we can see the next level could be this level here at 5.7. Or should we consider to consolidate around this range for the rest of Q4 for Odera BITs 2.56? H4 also we can see a V shape, but it's creating a double high from the previous high. So let's see, will it continue to rally or will it pull back later on? Okay, so that is BITs Odera for you. And then what else? What else do we have here? Okay, so let's go and look at Hyperliquid. Something like Hyperliquid. So creating higher highs, higher highs, now higher lows. So look here, this will be the next level here at $45. Look at the weekly time frame. Now coming back for a pullback here at around this level here at 53.52. So this will be the level where it needs to be maintained. If not, you're probably going to go down even more. And to retest all these lows, $7. Okay. So it is already happening now for Hyperliquid to come down. The peak is already there. It's coming down. Okay. It is already there. And then if you look into SUI. So all these tokens are actually undervalued now. Very, very good to accumulate later on. SUI also coming down. So I'm going to mark all these zones here. 42, maybe 42. And then what else here? 96 is the entry sell. So if it comes down to 42, I think it's going to be a huge steal. Okay, it brings back to the 2023 level, which is 3 years back. And it's going to be a huge bargain here to actually accumulate. Very, very huge opportunity to buy back there. Let's see, but we need to really assess the team as well. Whether is it worthwhile to actually continue with SUI. Okay, look at that momentum sell, pullback, going down again for SUI. So it's looking bearish. Okay, let's look at Solana. Solana, look at that head, left and right shoulder, head and shoulder. Price going down, momentum sell, pullback, entry sell, breaking down again. And then of course we're going to look here, it's level 42.38. Okay, so that could be the zone where everyone most likely want to accumulate, which is the $40 range. So if it gets back down there again, I think that could be a huge steal. Okay, another chance again to accumulate at $40. Momentum sell, pullback, we are trade, and it's looking set to break lower. Let's see. I think this could be the final drop. And then we are going to go for a long consolidation range, okay, for the rest of Q4, and then leading up to 2027. So we can see momentum sell again, going down, breaking down again. You can see H4 break, okay, and then still did not pass the middle band, which is also another concern. Another bearish candle about to form. Then this critical support here at $73, most likely to get breached as well for Solana. So, what is your concern there now? Should you continue to wait, or are you planning to start looking into it? What is your decision? Okay, moving on to that. So we have BitTensor Tau as well. So what's happening now with BitTensor Tau? Looking set to break lower. Look at that. BitTensor Tau, another AI narrative, isn't it? 182 critical support. If not, then it's going to go for a new price discovery. And then we're going to look at BitMEX as well. Broke, pull back, reversal retest candle is formed. Okay. So it's not looking very, very good for BitTensor. And it's looking set to breach this critical support, 163 as well. Okay. Descending, pull back, okay, consolidation, sideways. Okay. we can see already the setup is actually breaking towards the downside. Okay, for BitTensor. All right. So that's all I have for tonight.